Talk about commuter issues. Hundreds of thousands, if not more, of us here in South Africa rely on trains to get to and from work on a daily basis. But our train services, let's be honest, haven't always been something to be proud of. From poorly upgraded infrastructure to vandalism and ongoing theft. For 2 years now, over 300,000 daily commuters in Cape Town have been forced to find alternative transport. But in Pretoria and Mabopane, the situation seems to be better. There you can see in Mabopane for us, eNCA's Pule Letshwiti-Jones literally tracking the story for us. Morning to you, Pule. So a new year and hopefully a better year for commuters. What do you have for us?
Right, Gareth, hopefully this time around they can also get to work on time. And as we understand, we've spoken to some of the officials from PRASA just from yesterday, trying to track the developments around the progress of trains having to move. And we all understand, like you just mentioned, there's been issues, very critical issues of vandalism of the properties here on which trains move on, such as tracks and railway lines. And of course, there have also been incidences where criminals have been caught with some of the infrastructures and metals that allow for trains to move smoothly and safely when transporting commuters. But all we understand is that today, just from what the Transport Minister Pule had tweeted yesterday, said there would be trains moving from Pretoria to Mabopane, and we do anticipate the last train coming to Mabopane, which is the final station here in Pretoria, to be arriving anytime from now, just after 8:20. That will be the last train coming this way, and the next one will be going back to Pretoria. But this time around, officials are quite sure that the progress of trains having to move into cities, into towns rather, around Pretoria will be successful, and they're hoping that they can also stop the issues of vandalism, which includes, of course, the damaging of property here.
And I suppose that's always going to be the problem, isn't it? We can keep reintroducing new trains, new train tracks, new lines, but in the end it's the vandalism and the theft, and we've heard about this, Pule, that there just isn't enough people, there isn't enough security to protect our train stations.
Yeah, that's one of the most problematic issues that I think PRASA has encountered over not only past months but over the years as well, where security has been quite an issue. And hopefully these are some of the issues as well that the Transport Minister will be addressing when he makes his way here at some of the stations in Pretoria on Wednesday. We do understand that right now he's also making those visits in Cape Town, where there's also been issues whereby we do know that trains were also torched at some point here as well. Trains were also vandalized at some point, and that's one thing I think he's come to terms with having to condemn, in terms of telling commuters and of course community members to look after the properties and the trains as well, because these are the very same public facilities and rather transportation that they're using to get to their various destinations. But while that's the case, Gareth, you understand that the issue of security may have to be addressed, because he's a new badge of trains as well, and therefore he will be expecting to actually start the year on a good note, because there's been a lot of criticism around the transportation issue within the country as well. And hopefully this time around this will come to terms and this will be better. Now, just before you go, Gareth, there's a few things I need to highlight here. The train station moving within Pretoria moves around Pretoria, Hercules Station, Pretoria North, Mountain View Station, then makes its final destination to Mabopane Station. Now, some of these stations have been vandalized as well, and it seems as though PRASA officials are very quite aware as to some of the stations that are quite problematic, and where some of the facilities have been stolen, and they'll try to make an effort to ensure that some of the stations where tracks have been damaged and railway lines have been damaged are of course repaired, to allow for this train to move successfully and transport commuters to your various destinations.
Yeah, well, we wait to see what those plans are. We've been hearing about these plans for a while, but Pule Letshwiti-Jones, no doubt you're going to be there as they announce this. We'll ask the hard questions as well. Let's go down to Cape Town. You can also see joining us there Nobesuthu Hejana on board a train that's just setting off. Hello to you, Nobesuthu. What do you have for us in Cape Town? Also a big problem with railways down there.
We know that in Cape Town there's been an issue of vandalism, and we know that in the central line, which is used by a lot of people, it hasn't been operating since October 2019, but the minister and the team from PRASA are out today doing an oversight on different stations where those stations have been refurbished. They will be looking at some of the work that has been done, but I'm now joined by by the chairperson of PRASA, Mr. Leonard Ramatlakane. Sir, can you just tell us a bit about this oversight? What work will you be monitoring today?
Well, as you all know that the minister, they allocated a substantial amount of money to do the capital expenditure, to refurbish, to correct, to fix the stations and so on. This visit of the minister is to actually see firsthand what is in fact being done, which stations are still under stress that they still have to be fixed in terms of the allocation. You know, we're going to the new allocation very soon. So all of these oversight visit is to confirm what PRASA would have said in paper, so confirming it by basically visiting the area. So what you will see is that also the program to reintroduce the train on the services, like we have it here now, right up till Fishhoek in central and southern suburb, which is, and you see the new train here. This is the new train that still have to get a full license to function, and RSR is already giving us an indication that there are not objection. There's not going to have an objection. We're going to run it, which means commercially throughout the day. So this and basically the Cape Flats line is beginning to be reintroduced, and then of course Northern Suburb line is a dual ownership between PRASA and Transnet in terms of line, but it is functioning as far as Belvo. We still have to fix the line, fix the other stations in between, that the stations are habitable, the people can stop there, the train can stop there. So these are what we are doing currently.
And obviously the issue of safety and security around the railway or the stations has been a concern. Would you say that the programs that you've introduced, such as the People to Protect, is working, seeing that earlier this month there was a stoning incident in one of the trains?
Well, the safety, we have a plan, a good plan, security plan, which is an integrated plan that speaks to the police, railway police, security of PRASA, and in some cases army, what army can also do in helping us. So that plan is done. We also have insourcing of employing more security, 3,100 security that has been employed. Besides that, obviously to insource by basically going out in public and getting security companies to provide a warm body in terms of the patrols and all of that, including guard inside the train. So that stage is working, its plan is there. Obviously we are now implementing it in earnest. Well, of course, the plan is good as it's been implemented. Coupled to that, we're also bringing in the e-guard, the security, the camera, the CCTV cameras, and of course later we're also going to bring the drones. That gives you the information, because there's too many frequent stealing or ripping off of the electricity. So all of that, we'll have to see the movement of what is happening in that, and the technology will help us to do that.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. Well, Gareth, hopefully those plans that they have for security will indeed bring the safety and also ensure that many of Cape Town users who are relying on trains will get an opportunity to use them, as they're also planning to bring back the Central Line, which we know has been occupied by some informal dwellers in the area of Langa and other areas. But we're hoping that whatever plans that they have, they will see through with that. Vandalism and also cable theft are some of the things that will be ended soon with some plans that they have. Gareth?
Nobesuthu, for the moment then, we can hear the alarms going off as you pull into one of the other stations, having just left Malbury on its way to Rondebosch at the moment. Nobesuthu, Hejana speaking to officials. No doubts, we'll come back to you again a little bit later. Also on the left of your screen, you would have seen Pule Letshwiti-Jones for us up in Pretoria at the moment. So a big focus on trains and vandalism and safety